Christine, tell us what it took to get you where you are today, fighting for justice for Liberian women.
Thank you so much, Esther, for having me. So I grew up in a patriarchal society where injustices against women are very visible. So I soon decided on pursuing a degree in law. And whilst in law school, I volunteered at the Liberian National Bar Association, where I provided pro bono legal services for women and girls. As a lawyer, I was recruited as one of the 10 waging justice for women fellows of the Clooney Foundation for Justice and seconded at the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia, where I work with women and girls for a period of 1 year. The aim of the Waging Justice for Women Fellowship Program is to promote early career women lawyers who are interested in championing the cause of justice for women and supporting organizations like the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia, who are working, promoting, and advocating for the rights of women in Africa.
Right, Christine. Christine,
So
let's move on to the law that we just referenced there. Tell us what the litigation case about that Liberian law that the primary custody of a child goes to the father, unless, of course, in the case of a divorce, unless, of course, there's an exception where the father is incapable of taking care of the child.
So this is the domestic relations law of Liberia, which was enacted since 1973. And since 1973, this law has prevailed in our jurisdiction, where at cases of divorce, men are usually given custody of the children, except a woman can prove that the father is incapable of taking care of a child. And it is quite difficult for women to prove this, especially where they have economic challenge, they have social challenge, or are not so educated as the men. So as I went through my fellowship program, I encountered a lot of cases of such, and this built my interest in taking up a strategic litigation, which will bring reform to such a law that is so biased against women in Liberia.
Right. Christine, can you tell us, what impact this has on a child who is torn between the two parents?
Yes, so the child is placed in a very difficult position at an event of divorce to choose between a father or mother. And women are usually the primary caregivers of children here in Liberia, whether those women are educated, socially stable, economically stable. So at the point of divorce, there's always a tussle between the father and the mother, and this affects the psychological and psychosocial aspect of the child's life. You see children are visibly sad. Some of them are crying on their fathers to stay with their mothers. It even affects their performances in school, and it later on affects them in their lives as adults. And for the women, it's always a tough call. They always find themselves in a situation of challenge when it comes to the economic, the physical, and the psychosocial aspect of their lives. So it affects the women greatly. It also affects the children. Some children handle it a bit better than others, but it's never really a good experience for them.
And Christine, how prevalent are cases like this in Liberia?
Divorce cases are quite prevalent, and quite recently, the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia conducted a research at the Civil Law Court in Monrovia, Liberia's capital, and it's revealed that divorce is getting quite common. Over the last 5 years, there has been about 100 plus divorce cases in each year. So we see that it is very prevalent, and custody is always paramount in cases of divorce, and women are cornered to prove in the case of an exception that a man is incapable of taking care of a child before a woman can ever be given custody to a child. 90% of the cases that go to court when custody issues arise, custody are given to the men, and the women sit there. They are sad, they are not happy, and sometimes the women even have to stipulate agreements where they will be so flexible to forgo their property rights. They'll be flexible in their alimony paternity right, just to ensure that the stipulation agreement helps them to get custody to the children.